All right, this is Lori, Paint Girly, and I'm going to work on a few gourds. A couple I've already pretty much finished. I just want to add a few things, I think, to jazz them up a little bit. So I'll see if anybody's able to join me. I thought rather than just do a standalone, I'd pop on, take a sip of my coffee, get my mouse out of the way. All right, I want to rearrange a few things here. Let me get my so-called palette over to the right because I'm right-handed instead of me crossing my body. So I've been commissioned to do a few birdhouses for my friend Ed, who is involved with the co-op that I belong to. He's an authority on gourds. And let me just see. I think I pushed the live button. Yes, I'm live. Okay. And let's see, what's today? Today's Wednesday. Folks might be busy, but I need to do this anyway. So I'm just going to make myself a little more room here. And I'm going to get out a baby wipe if I have any handy. Which it looks like I do not. So let me get some paper towels. All right, so I'm going to be using acrylic paint. And I'm basically freehanding my design here on my gourds. I'm going to tip into my water a little bit here and clean up this paint I have down here. And what Ed will do will then take an acrylic spray, high gloss spray, and give the gourds a good coat of sealer once I deliver them to him, which I'm hoping to do that tomorrow. And I watched a few Donna Dewberry videos. And got some pointers. So I've had some what would you say, some helpful criticism about I don't get started quick enough. Of course, I'm hoping this is a live stream and somebody will pop in and join me. But geez, doesn't look like anybody's around. Oh, maybe I'm buffering. I see my phone. It looks like I'm buffering. Let's see here. Uh-oh. That didn't work. And sometimes I have trouble with the chat and I can't see the chat. Something went wrong. Tap to retry. I might have to edit this part out. Let's see. Let me get rid of that. And of course, the dogs have to start chatting away. All right. Well, I may be doing this solo. So I'm just going to go ahead and pretend like there are people here with me. So this is what I've been working on. These are long-necked or ladle-handled gourds. See, that's the neck. I don't have a lot of room here. And then, of course, it's a birdhouse. So this one I did acrylic paint. I want to add a few things to this, which I think I'll do in a little bit. So I've got that one started. I figured if I want to do spattering and do some decorative stuff on top of the paintings, I'll do that all at the same time. This one again is a long handle. I don't know if they call it a bottleneck or a ladle gourd, but this one Of course, a little hummingbird with some flowers. And this, I watched Donna Dewberry video to do that little hummer. And I have one more that I've gotten started. Oh, speaking of hummingbirds, there's a hummingbird in my garden. Oops, sorry. All right, so I've got this gourd here, again, with a long neck and a couple of dragonflies and then another flower. So I think I need to outline some flowers or maybe add a couple other little dots or some dot flowers to these, a little spattering. I think they just need a little something else. So I'm commissioned to do 4. And Ed purchases these gourds in Lancaster, Pennsylvania at a gourd farm. So this is my 4th gourd. And I think I'm going to do another dragonfly because they're fairly easy and they look so cute. So the gourds have all been dried and cleaned out where Ed purchases them, and they take out the insides and the seeds and whatnot, and they're all scrubbed clean. And then for the little perch, they use the stem of the gourd, so it's really all ready to go. I'm not going to seal it first. I'm just going to go in with my acrylic paint and paint my design. So I don't want it to be exactly like my other dragonfly. I was thinking about a bigger dragonfly here. And so I'm going to start with a darker green to make the body of my dragonfly. And I'm just using some acrylic paint that I've had for quite a long time. This one is a Delta Ceram coat, and it's a dark forest green. And I'm just going to use this paper plate as my palette. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that on. And I think I'm going to look for, yesterday I kind of used a square shader, but today I'm going to try this number 6 round. This is a low Cornell brush, and of course it's had a lot of wear and tear. And what I'm going to do is just start with the head. Now I just went directly into the water, put moisture in my brush, and then dipped into my acrylic paint. So I'm going to do a little head, and then I'm going to make other little circles, graduating in size. Now you could use a dotter, really, to do this. And I'm going to do a couple of coats of this. Just kind of getting my shape in. Now, this is not a scientific experiment or picture. So my bugs or my dragonflies can be really whatever I want. So I'm going to take that and let that dry. And then I'm going to get my liner brush, which is one of my favorites. Move my brushes over here to the right. Again, I'm going to put that in some water, and I'm just going to grab a little bit of paint and kind of work that into my brush. And when I'm pulling and twirling, kind of pulling and twisting my brush so I get a nice point. And I'm just going to take this and pull myself out a little tail. I'm using my pinky finger to brace myself so I can get a nice stroke. And that really only takes a few minutes to dry. Now I think I want I kind of like the purpley green vibe. So I'm going to take this lighter green, which is a folk art, a mossy green, mossy meadow color. And if I'm not mistaken, Donna Dewberry does the one-stroke painting, and she uses, I think, quite a bit. She'll use the folk art because it is a thicker consistency in that paint, which holds really nicely when you're trying to do her technique of one-stroke painting. But I'm not sure that I have a folk art purple. This one's called Purple Dusk, and it is a ceram coat color. Purple Dusk. See, these are old. I'm sure they've changed their label. I've had these for years. Ooh. Now I think I'm going to practice my leaves because, like I said yesterday, now look, I got paint all over my fingers. I used a square brush because I was following along with Donna Dewberry. But I'm going to see how it looks if I use, and then I'm going to put out a little bit of float medium, or you might have something called extender. And what that does is give you a little more time with your acrylic paint before it starts to dry, and you can restroke things. And I wear contact lenses, so I've been saving these little containers. So when I want to just put a little bit of some kind of product, see, because that extender kind of runs all over the palette. So if you put it in some kind of little container, you have a little more control. All right, so I'm going to take that extra moisture out of my brush. And let's see, what do I have that I can practice on here? I just have a piece of watercolor paper that I'm going to practice. So I'm just going to take some of my green, some of my purple, and kind of work that in my brush. I might want a little bit of white also. Let me put some white out. Not white out, like no, not that. White paint on my palette. I'm going to tip into that a little bit. That's a little better. And I'm going to put a little bit of that float medium. Now, the thing I struggle with is when I'm loading the brush is remembering what side I have what color paint. I think I'm going to go with this. Now, I might need my wings a little bigger, but I'm going to place my wings right here. And I'm going to start from the outside edge and pull in. So I'm going to press down and then hopefully pull up. I'll load some more paint on there. A little more float medium. And I'm going to restroke that. Let's see. I'll make sure I have the green at the top. And then I'm going to come in the other side. Push down. Pull in. All right. And I think I want this a little bigger. So I'm going to come back in here. I just want to make sure I have the right color paint on the right side of the brush. And with that extender in your paint on your brush, like I said, it gives you a little more flexibility. Let me just check my phone and see if I turned my sound down. I just want to make sure I'm getting any messages. All right, let's see. Let's go back here. I didn't have my phone on live. All right, let's see. So that doesn't look too bad. Now I'm going to reload my brush. Same thing. I'm going to rinse it though. And I'm going to get a little more of that green. Oh, I said I was going to practice and then I didn't. I practiced on my palette. And a little bit of purple. I'm going to dip into my white. Get a little more green there. A little more floating medium or extended medium. I'm going to turn my gourd this way. And I just want to come in and do a shorter little wing. Come in that way. I saw a dragonfly over the weekend. It looked like he had box wings. They were really different. I guess there's all kinds of dragonflies. Now, just trying to get this to be maybe a little more transparent. I don't think I'm doing real great on blending those colors, but I'm going to come in from the bottom here. So purple on the bottom, so I'm going to make sure that's on the bottom. I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing, but also I need to see what I'm doing. Now these brushes are not the best. Donna Dewberry was saying she uses Weber brushes that are professional brush. I think I'm going to check into those. Okay. So I think he looks pretty good. Now, like I said, I'm going to come back in. Oh, there, Gail. Yes, it is Lori. I'm trying to set my phone up here. That's okay, Gail. There's a lot of folks. You know what? I'm not seeing the chat on my computer, so I'm glad I looked down at my phone. Yeah, you did good. You did good. We went to our pool yesterday, and I met a lady, and she's like, "Oh, I hope I can remember your name." So, well, I'm going to try. She was Connie. So what I'm doing here, Gail, is just trying to get a commission job finished up. And doing dragonflies on this one. I think I'm going to set my phone up here a little bit. See if I can, like I've said before, it's a struggle when you wear, I'm really not, I really don't like glasses. Okay. So I'm wearing contact lenses to do like everyday things, like, to cut your food, or I can see to drive, yada, yada, all that jazz. Right. And, what tends to happen is I don't see close up well, so then I need additional help. Maybe I can get this sketchbook. Maybe that'll work. I just need my phone to be elevated a little bit. So, and sometimes, and I'm not sure why, I'm not getting the chat up on my computer, so I'm just trying to see. All right, I'll watch and see if that moves. All right, so I think I need now, usually I like to put 3 things on my pieces, but the surface is kind of small. I don't want to yuck it up too much. I know. I can't see a thing without them. And to paint or do any small handwork, forget about it. So I think maybe I want another dragonfly maybe to come this way. So I'm going to turn my gourd. I love gourds. And these are really nice. And so are you doing okay, Gail? I hope you're doing well. All right, so I'm just going to make another series of circles. The first one being his head, which I'm going to make a little bigger. So I'm going to put this one here. Oh, good. And then I don't want them too big. And then I'm just going to make little graduating dots to mimic, you know, his body. And you could also do this with a dotting tool. I'm using acrylic paint. And then I'm going to come in with my liner again, put some water on that. Add a little, my green paint. Bring my brush to a point. And I want this guy maybe to curl around this way. I've got so much stuff around my desk and I need to clean it up, but it's just so boring. All right, so there's that little guy. Maybe I will do another one under here and have him come this way. I almost just rinsed my brush and my coffee. Wouldn't be the first time for that. All right, so let's see. I'm afraid I'm going to knock off this little perch they got here. So, all right, let me just start the head here. I kind of want this to curve around a little bit. Now I'm going to go back to my liner brush and get that little tail in. Now, when I was watching Donna Dewberry, if anybody's not familiar with her, she's the one-stroke lady. She does beautiful things. And she said she often puts in antennas on her dragonflies, which they don't really have antennas. But it doesn't have to be realistic. It's not for a science project. Oh, do you? Oh, I love watching her. She just makes it look so easy. And it's really not. I know, right? Well, I'll show you what I did, Gail, because I showed at the beginning of the video here. I tried her hummingbird. Let me see. Where's the hummer? Not that one, of course. I don't want my gourds to fall. I don't think this one's too bad. You know, I'm too close to the camera. That's her hummingbird. So he didn't turn out too bad. I mean, I think his wings could be a little longer. But you know what? After you mess with it a little while, you have to just say, okay, it's good. Gotta let it go. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to come back in and give myself a second coat on these bodies. Some paints are, like I was saying, the Folk Art brand paint is very thick, and I think that's what Donna uses. And it's great for the one stroke. I mean, I think that's part of being successful, using a thicker paint, because it really works well to do those strokes, those one strokes. But this green I'm using here, of course I'm not doing one stroke. It's a little more transparent. So I'm putting a second coat on this body, on their bodies. And I'm going to use the same brush to do my wings. And I'm loading, this one I did green and the purple. I think I'm going to do green and the white. So I'm just going to load some green in my brush, tip some white in there. add a little floating medium, and hopefully it won't be too green. And I want the wing to end up right behind that first, this is going to be hard for you to see, right behind that first circle. That is the head. So I'm going to press down and pull in, lift up, press and lift up. And while I'm there, I might as well do the little wing. Same thing, press down and pull up. Now I am known to do better if I flip my work. So I'm flipping my gourds, flipping my gourd, girls. Get a little more paint, a little more white. And I want to try to make the size about the same. And then come back in, pull in that other little wing, and then have a look. That's not too bad. I mean, it is free-handed. It's not stamped out on a machine, so you can't be too hard on yourself, right? Now the next one down here, I think I'm going to just do the lavender or purpley color and white. Now the thing about the extender is that, hey Teresa, good morning, good morning. It's lunchtime here for me, although I did have a nice breakfast this morning. I took my neighbor to a doctor appointment, and then we had some breakfast before appointment, so I'm not quite ready for some lunch. All right, I think I want this set of wings to be a little lighter. And see if I can. So the problem with working on this kind of a gourd is that it's got such a long neck. All right, so I'm going to press down again and pull in my leaf. Press and lift up. And put a little more. If you use the extender, you could use water, and that gives you a little more wiggle time too, as far as, you know, your paints. But it dries it out, where the extender, yeah, they do make pretty birdhouses. The extender gives you a little more time and doesn't dry your paint so much. So, right, this one. And this one, you want it to be a little shorter. Bring that in. I want to poke a hole through my computer screen. Ooh, that wouldn't be good. All right, so now I think I'm just going to take my liner and pick up a little bit of white. Put that on my liner brush and just give these guys a little bit of a highlight down the one side of their bodies. This is still a little wet here. See, that extender really gives you some extra time. I'm going to put a little highlighting over here. Uh-oh, I think I knocked something over. I just put my mitt in that wet leaf, that wet petal, not petal, wing. You know what? It depends on where you live. I guess if you wanted to buy them in person, like this fella Ed that I'm painting these for, he travels a couple of hours to go get them in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. He's over in Pennsylvania. And no, that's not true. He's in Jersey, but he goes over to Pennsylvania to get them. But you can get them online. The thing that I struggle with buying them online is really getting a good idea of the size. Yeah, you'd have to Google. There's probably somewhere near you where you can get them. But see, like where he gets, I don't know if you can tell, but the wall of these gourds is nice and thick. Let me see if I can. Can you see the opening there? See how nice and thick that is? So these are pretty durable. But if you go on, I know Etsy has vendors that sell gourds, and some of them you would have to drill yourself. Hey, Beth, how are you? So you have to kind of to know what you're looking for. These folks that I work with, they're like gourd experts, and they have all different names. And of course, some of them are real small, and then some of them, I mean, they sit on the ground, and you could use them for like inside your foyer as a decorative piece. I mean, they're huge. So, and like I said, see, this one has a real long neck, which a lot of them do not. Like the ones that you see at Christmas time painted as Santas. So, well, there is a trick to growing them too, because I had some seeds, and my husband's always been against them. I always wanted to do that. Somebody in chat yesterday somewhere said they grow them, and my husband doesn't want to mow around like the vines, you know, like pumpkins and the gourds. They have a lot of vines. I had dreams of having these little things in the ground that they could grow up, yada yada. Anyway, I just threw the gourds in my garden thinking they would grow. But Ed was telling me the seeds of a gourd are very tough. So what you have to do is you soak them for a couple of days before you put them in the ground, and that's the trick to be successful. Now, I can do veining in these, which I don't think I'm going to. And I think I'm going to do some dot flowers on this gourd. So I'm thinking I might like something a little brighter. I'm so into orange these days. Not everybody is. Let me see what I got here. Well, this is a pink. Pink raspberry might be nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my white. I'm going to use a dotter. And maybe rather than total dot flowers, maybe I'll do little petals. Okay, let's just see how this goes. Mary, how are you? Thanks for popping in. Okay, so I'm going to just do where I think I want some flowers on this gourd. So this is going to be the center. Now, if you do this, you have to be careful because, like I did, you can easily put your mitt. Oh, grow them on close. Oh, that's an idea. So I think I'll do 3 there. And maybe I'll do one up here. Now, this is just going to give me a little bit of a guide of where I can put some flowers. And I think it should either be 3 or 1. Some of these are going to overlap. So I'm going to use that for my centers. And then I'm going to use, now Donna Dewberry used a square brush, and the petals turned out really great. So I'm going to mimic that again. So I'm going to take a small square shader. Oh, thanks, Mary. I'm trying to decide if I want to put veins in their wings. I'm not sure about that yet. All right, so I'm going to use this raspberry framboise. Ooh la la, French, methinks. And this is an Americana paint. Of course, again, an older version. because all my years of painting ceramics, I never threw anything out. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of that out. So what I'm going to attempt to do is kind of a Donna Dewberry technique, one stroke for these little petals. They're not real flowers. They're just going to be just little cutesy flowers. I'm not wanting to make them look like, you know, the real deal. Okay. There's all kinds of dragonflies. Like I was saying earlier, this past weekend, the wings that we saw out of the dragonflies out in our backyard, the wings were square, and at the end there was a dark brown box. It almost looked like wings on a single engine plane. They were really cool. They were kind of blah, but it was cool. All right, so I've got moisture in my brush. I'm going to load it half with the, let me show you what I'm doing here. I'm going to tip one, where's my camera? Tip one corner in the white. And this is a, let's see, this is a number 6 shader. And then I'll put the other corner in my pink. And I'm just going to run that through like that. A little bit of pink, a little bit of white. I'm going to add a little floating medium, so I have a little more wiggle time. And then I'm just going to take the brush and pull it this way and do little tiny petals. We're going to see how that works. So anytime I go off screen, I'm loading more paint in my brush. And I'm just going to eyeball these and hope for the best. You know, they were so fast I didn't even notice the body, what color it was. All right, so I want to pull, which way do I want to go, girls? That way. All right, so if I just drag down. Now, once this dries, I can come back in and do another layer around in the circle. Now, I'm just trying to adjust here with the arm of the gourd, really kind of under my arm. Now, Ed, when he gets these, he will spray them with indoor-outdoor acrylic spray, and they'll be good to go. And they'll have a nice shine to them. And I'm not too concerned about these overlapping. These are just pretend flowers. Well, see, I envy you, Mary, because you can do a much more relaxed. See, that's why I have trouble with like even watercolor, because I'm what I consider myself to be tight. I'm a little too tight, and I would like to be a little freer with my strokes and stuff, but I have to work at that. And of course, it depends on how you hold which way you drag your brush in, color-wise. But, you know, if you really look at real flowers, they're just all, you know, different. They're not exactly the same. And this one, I think I want to go kind of this way. You can't do slow either. No, you don't do sloppy. I mean, your things are like so amazing. Mary, I just absolutely loved that clothespin stamp you carved. Oh my gosh, that was so stinking cute. So cute. Okay, I'm going to add a few more petals in here on this one. And then I'm going to use a trick for some of the mandala girls. And where's my daughter? Sorry, I'm getting really close to the... See, I work with something and then I give it a toss. I'm like, Lori, where did you put it? I want to put a little pink dot inside. Just this is probably too small. Oh my goodness. Maybe it hit the floor. This is probably too small. Let's see. I think I want to put another little... I'm going to put a couple little pink dots in the center of that flower. And then I'm going to keep loading my square shader here and add some more petals. I don't know that I want to put stems in. That's what I'm trying to decide. And I would like to put some curly-Q kind of things, but I'm so much better with a pen than a brush, getting them really round. Yeah, I admire the mandala things too. It's a hard, to me, that's a hard thing to do. And I have to work at doodling as well. I mean, it just doesn't come natural to me. But I enjoy trying on all of it, that's for sure. All right, so I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just going to add more little petals down here to these guys. I think any bird would be happy to take up residence in this little birdhouse, right? Oh, hi, Aunt Beck. I know, and you are great at the mandala. I just have a hard time doing a lot of that repetitive. If I do that, I have to do it a little bit and then come back. Oh, there's my other daughter. How about that? I put it where it belonged. So I'm just going to add another little dot in these, just okay. So I think once that dries, I might come back and spatter some color to just add a little, maybe some black, just add a little splash of something, something. I miss Janice. Oh, hi, Janice. Hey, Devin. Thank you, Devin. You're so clever. All right, now let me show you these other ones. Let me see. I've got to find a safe place for that to dry. This is the Donna Dewberry technique for the hummingbird. So, of course, it's not realistic. But I think these flowers need a little something, something. And this is true. This is true, Mary. Very true. All right. So I think I might like to do just some little, not so much whirligigs. Like I don't want to get involved with stems because there's, nowhere for the stems to latch onto. I don't know. So I think I might just put out a little bit of black Thank you, Murray. Maybe I should do the green. Let me see what the dark green looks like. I can always go over it. Where's my liner? When I did ceramics years ago, there was a girl there. I think it was her mom who had the shop. I don't even remember her name. Her mom's name was Betty, but I don't remember her name. And oh my gosh, she could do swirls like, they were so great. Like if I drew it first with a pencil, oh, maybe I should do that. If I drew it first with a pencil, like what if I go, let me see here. What if I go like that and like that, and I'll do one down here, one this way, and like that. Go like that. I'm better at that. Let's see. All right, so now I'm going to brace my thumb. And not breathe. I'm staying up on the tip of my brush, not using too much pressure. I'm going to twirl my gourd. I don't even know if I was in frame, girls, so I'm not paying attention. Let's see. I hope you can see what I'm doing. All right, so this one I'm going to come around this way. So you can do it in sections if I have a line there. This fella that his daughter owns the co-op that I belong to, and he goes to Lancaster, PA. There's a gourd farm, and picks them out. And I know you can get some online, but like these are nice and thick, and they're very durable. And he gets really amazing gourds there. There are some that look like little tiki huts that the owner paints and shellacs them. They're just absolutely beautiful. But I usually paint pumpkins. Yeah, I kind of usually hold my breath. Yes, because he'll then take an indoor, outdoor acrylic spray, Murray, and give that maybe like 2 or 3 coats. And, you know, they recommend that once you take it in at the end of the season, you know, you clean out all the bird stuff and then give it another spray the next year. This place where he buys them, Becky, they're ready to paint. They grow them, they dry them, and they have some that are drilled and some that are not drilled, and some that they cut for birdhouses. Now Ed does know how to cut them himself because he's been working with gourds, gosh, most of his life. He's 89. And he's quite talented, but he doesn't do this kind of. He does like where he'll carve them and then he stains the surface. And they look more like a Native American kind of design. He also takes big gourds and cuts them and cleans them out and builds a nativity set inside and puts a light inside them. They're very popular at our co-op. I mean, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to take my dotting tool and put some dots here. And I think I want to start here. Come around this way. to give another little pop of something, something. And then this way you're, you know, they're graduated and they look kind of cool. Just if you're not used to this kind of dotting, even with a mandala, you have to clean your dotter off once in a while. And I think I want some here, because if that paint starts to gather around your tool, you know, you won't get a nice even cover, and your dots will start to look a little funky. So I think I might call that one done. So we'll put him off to the side. I feel so good getting this done. With being down and out for a little bit, I'm behind on some of these things, you see. Now this one, my bumblebee, and kind of a mimic on a sunflower. Not especially thrilled with this one. Thanks, Devin. Let's see if I can rest this guy. Now this one, I don't know if you can tell, I did do a beehive stencil behind, and I did put some lines in the bee's wings. You know, and it's, again, it's a whimsical thing. But I'm not crazy about my sunflower. So I'm trying to decide if I want to do some outlining of the petals, and I do want to paint over top of that yellow. I'm not crazy about that yellow on my bee. I don't want it real super bright, but I think I'm going to try my summer squash. Okay, Mary, thanks for popping in. Have a good day. Okay, that's what I needed. I needed a second opinion. Thanks, Devin. All right, so I'm going to put out a little bit of yellow. And I'm going to grab a smaller, let's see if this one will, yeah, this one might do. And if you're painting, not dry brushing, and you just want to make sure you put some water in your brush, just take out the extra. And I'm going to see if this yellow is going to work for me. Oh, you know what? Let me do this first. Now, my question is, like, I have the Posca pens, and that will be so much easier to do the outlining in my flower. But I've had problems with that running, and I'm afraid if he hits it with the spray. Okay, Becky, thanks for popping in. Have a good afternoon. I'm just afraid that when he hits it with the acrylic spray, it might run. So I'm guessing I probably should use a paintbrush. Of course, I don't want to get too particular with these because they're going to be hung in somebody's yard. You know, it's not a masterpiece. It's not like something that's going to be in your living room. Yeah, I know, right? Most people don't have problems with them running. I don't know. It's the same, like, I don't get very good coverage with the white. I mean, Dee Dee uses that white Posca, man, and it just pops. And I shake it and shake it and shake it. I don't know. Oh, that's a good point, Gail. Maybe I did rush it. That's a very good point. Yeah, I don't know. Dee Dee's just got that magic touch, huh? Ooh. Magic touch. All right. So I want to take my daughter and I'm going to redot these here. I didn't use a dotter. I used just the brush. And remember, if you want your dots all the same size, you have to reapply the paint each time you're going to dip it down. All right, so I am going to put some dots around the center of the flower because I just like the way that looks. But where do I have my, let's see if I can get a pasta that works here in black. This might be good. It's a little thicker. Let's see. Let's see here. And I don't really necessarily need it to be exact. Okay, Gail, thanks for popping in. Thank you. I just want to give it a little something here. More of a whimsy kind of a effect rather than, you know, real stiff. That may not be super whimsy, but all right, now I'm going to use black, I think, to do my dots around the flower. And sometimes I fuss around too much. You know, when you look at your own work, somebody else says, oh, that looks great. And you're like, oh, well, yeah, thanks. But so, and I want these all different sizes. So I'm just going to tip in and then just add some dots. And I think when these dry, I'm going to spatter this one as well. I just love spatter. Just adds another dimension. I just got to watch where I'm putting my thumb down. I mean, my pinky. Now that one didn't get so good. Straighten that guy up. All right, let's see how that looks. I think that'll be okay. So I'm going to give that time to dry. All right, so that's gourd number 3, right? I did the bird. Yeah, I got that all situated. So now I have my other dragonfly. And I think this is the same thing. I'm just going to add some lines around the petals of the flowers. I'm going to spatter this one as well. And give myself some little petal marks here. Yeah, I think some of them are opening, Devin, but you know what? I've been successful, and it's so nice working with Keisha for me that I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore. I don't have to pack anything up. Like, I mean, I have to pack to ship, but I don't have to pack to display. And a lot of times, you know, sit for several hours and not have any customers. I'm not liking this as much as I thought I would. So, and then you can do it on your own time, you know, pretty much. I'm thinking about doing a couple of things myself because I would like to clean out some space. You know, maybe for some different things. My daughter and her family were here over the weekend, and my granddaughter, who's 6, popped in and said, "Oh, Amma, you have a lot of art stuff." I said, "Yeah, I do, and I really love it." And she said, "Well, you need a cleaning expert like me." Okay. All right. Messy grandma. Yes. All right. Now I think I want to put some I'm going to go with some white dots, a little smaller on this one, and just do little speckles. I know. Oh my gosh. When they were here this weekend, girls, it's the first hugs and smooches I've gotten since COVID. My grandson, for a while, anytime anybody came near him, he would scream, "No, no, I have germs, I have germs." So we had a great visit. Now this is what you don't want to happen. If you can see my dotting tool, see the paint's starting to dry, and so the dots are getting a little wonky. I'm going to put some on the flower. Maybe I'll do some around the opening here. Sometimes once you get going, you really get, you know, in a groove. Oh, get those babies out. I love dots. I think that's enough on that one. And then again, once I spatter that a little bit, I think that'll just jazz it up enough. Well, I don't know if any of you guys have done this, but you know, I see something and I think, oh, that'd be nice to have. And then I purchase it, and then I'm straightening up or digging through another box and find out I already bought it. Ugh. My mom says, well, you should keep an inventory. Yeah, well, then you got to remember where you put the inventory list. You got to remember what you called it. I move things too much. I organize, quote unquote, too much. All right. So now the goal is not to smack into those. Now I'm thinking I might also, beans I just have been on a little bit here. And I'm thinking I was in, Mary's always saying she gets inspired by Dee Dee Willingham, which I know so many of us do. But Mary also inspires me. And so she was working in her one journal she made. I don't know if it's her monthly journal, probably her monthly journal. So I threw this together really quick. I had gotten from Keisha these huge document pages. They're nice and heavy. They're heavier. And I thought, oh, that would make a cute journal to mess around in. Yeah. White dots on the dragon. Oh, that's a good idea, Devin. Yeah, I can add those for sure. That's a great idea. Um, so I just threw some pages together of different stuff I have sitting around, some of my painty papers, and I just threw different, and I have an idea page. I wasn't ready to write on this, so I have Post-its. I messed it up a little bit because I didn't poke my holes in very well. So I just added some washi tape. But then, sometimes I sketch things or I have an idea and I do something and then I rip the page out and stick it in a book. So I had a picture of this roast chicken that I drew. And I think while I have these paints out and I have out because to me this not just looks like a beehive, it kind of reminds me of like chicken wire. So I think I'm going to just mess around a little bit with this. So if you can hang out with me, that'd be great. If you got to go, I'll miss you. But I think I just might mess with this page a little bit. Excuse me while I take a little sip. So I'm just going to use this sponge, and I'm not going to really care too much about it. I'm going to go into my purple. Just going to use some of these colors that are on my palette already. I hate cleaning palettes. I hate cleaning up paint. I hate scraping paint. I love to paint, but I hate all that other jazz. So I'm just going to maybe put a little bit of this here. Now I did a wash of blue behind this chicken. And I thought I might just like a little more color. I'm not the best stenciler either. You see, I'm impatient. See, already I'm scrubbing. Look, I got some green. Oh, well. That's how it goes, kids. Oh, I did? Oh, I didn't realize. I was looking down. All right, so that's, I think, good enough for that. You put couple little, I didn't really mean to go into that dark green. I guess I could have used a different spot on the sponge. Okay, that's good enough for that. Put that aside. And let's see. Yeah, I didn't either. I don't know why my chat's not coming up on my computer, though. That's curious to me. I haven't marked anything different. I got to figure that out. All right, so maybe I'll just do a base coat on the beak in this yellow. I think I wanted to use acrylic on this guy. This document paper that I got from Keisha from the market, from the virtual market, is really nice, heavy, heavier stuff. So I think it'll take the acrylic okay. So I'm just gonna really kind of just paint this in. Let's see, I'm gonna give him a black eye. When I sketch stuff, I don't always necessarily like it, or, you sketch something in a book or on a piece of paper, you have an idea. But I really like this little chicken that I did. So I thought, I really want to, put that in a journal somewhere. And if you ever really want to be humble or you think you're doing better, show your 6-year-old granddaughter your sketchbook. That's always a good laugh. Oh my gosh, she's so stinking funny. She was hysterical. Well, that one's not too bad, but look at that one. It's all good. All right, so giving this guy crazy feet. And of course, knobby knees, I think, are just a scream. Yeah. Our grandson is 3, turned 3 in April. What was he was saying to me? We were having dinner, and he looked at me and said, "Amma, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Dessert." they just they just crack me up. I mean, I enjoyed my own kids, but boy, I'll tell you what, I really, really am enjoying these grandkids. All right, excuse my reach. All right, I put out some more white. I need to get a nice wattle color. I guess you call it a wattle. This is bright red. And I'm going to come in and do a little bit of shading just because I like to and I can. Okay, this is pretty nice. I'm going to use a little bit of this. If I can squeeze it out. I'm losing the ability to, oh, you know what? Maybe that's clogged a little. Ooh, paint bubble. You see, I'll just pour a little out instead of fighting with the cap. So I'm just base coating these in, and then I'm going to come back with some deeper colors and highlights maybe, and fuss around a little bit. So this here, I'm going to do the little wattle. You talking to me? Now, what I didn't do is look at a real chicken. But they usually have some, this is usually red around their eye too, right? Some of them. I'm wanting desperately to be able to sketch. Oh, Sharon, Marlo. Thanks, Sharon. I was hoping you liked that little bird. I thought he turned out cute. Ron kept saying, "Well, don't you want this to put in there?" I'm like, "No, I know what I have in mind." When I saw those little purple flowers, oh my gosh, I thought they were perfect. Did you like that fabric, Sharon? I'm anxious to see what you do with that fabric. Oh, good. I'm glad. That always makes you feel good. I'm trying to keep my channel alive, and I'm so far behind on stuff. I'm still doing my antibiotics and have a few more tests to do yet, but they've got to wait for a couple of weeks. So I do feel better. I just don't have a lot of get up and go really. Okay, so I think I want to put white for his body. I'm just going to try using this square shader. It's not real big, but almost kind of like a wash. I did blue to kind of give a background, a little bit of blue, just so it wasn't all stark white. So I really just kind of want to wash in some color here. And I think this would be a good candidate for a Posca pen or a, oh, thank you, Devin. Yeah, it kind of took me by surprise. You know, you go to the ER. I will be making covers with some of the fabric. Great oh, the dangles. Yeah, I forgot about those. Yeah, I really like the fabric. Yeah, we were getting ready to go on vacation, and I thought, well, I just hadn't been. Okay, Teresa, thanks for popping in. And we had full well expected to just be able to go on our little vacation, and thought it might be my appendix. So we thought, oh, it might be better to just go have a picture taken, you know, to see what's what. And next thing you know, they're admitting me, and spent 3 days in the hospital. And it wasn't my appendix. So there you go. All right, so I'm going to do this tail. I might come back in with a couple different colors in that tail, like just so it pops a little bit. Let's see. And just get a little bit of white in here. All right. Thanks, Sharon. See what I have my coffee in, Sharon? I don't know if you can tell. I don't want to tip it, but it's the great mug you sent me. I love it. Love it. Yes. Well, I was supposed to, I mean, I think this is chicken, but hey, it can be whatever. Whatever, right? All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of this red and I'm going to float it around my, this may be a bad decision, but I'm going to do it anyway. How bad can it be? So I'm just going to put some water in my brush. I'm just going to tip the corner of my brush with a little bit of red. And I'm just going to work that through so it works across the brush and kind of fades out. And I want the darker part like this around his eye. Now, normally I would flip this page so I could really primary poultry. Clean that up a little bit there. Okay. I think I need a little, I really like, I can't spin most of, I got so much stuff sitting around. I can't really spin my paint wheels because I've got my gourds drying. And this is yellow ochre, but it's not really, I like it to be a little darker. But I'm going to go with it because that's what I have out, and I can't really get to my darker colors. I got stuff everywhere. Oh my goodness, that sounds like, well, that's not very dark at all. Sounds like a little bit of thunder. It's a little overcast here today, but I didn't think we would. Oh, there I see some. Hold on, guys. This is a good color. And this is a good color. Oh, geez. Cocoa and sienna. Let me try the sienna. I just need a little bit. In fact, there's a little bit on that lid. Oh, I think I just smeared paint all over my nose. Just going to come down here a little bit. And down this way. And give him a little wet sweat there on his beaker. Almost a little baker beak. All right. Now I think his little kneecaps need a little something. So let's just, I don't know if you can see, I'm trying to push up. Tail's still wet. Voila! Okay, where do I have the, okay, let's see. And this knee I got going the other way. It's a little silly. I probably should put a little, see, I don't want to knock my phone over because that's where I'm seeing the chat. Maybe I'll lay this down there. Take it off my little grid and see if I can give myself a little smush here. I really have to, I have some videos I need to get, some standalones I need to get done, and I really am going to have to clean up to do that. Oh, good. What color did you send her? What was your, I mean, I really like the tangerine. I know you're a blue fan, but I really love the tangerine, and I like the yellow because you can really see the sparkle. Okay, I think I need a bigger square brush. Just so I can, let's try this one. I know I've said this a lot before, but I don't spend a lot of money on brushes because I'm terrible with them. I know I'm not going to take care of them. So let me just, this is a little too dark, I think. This brush feels a little loose. A little loose. This guy's been playing in the yard. It's got a little bit of dirt. A little bit of grunge. Normally I would, like I said, flip this book. But I don't really have the room to flip it. I keep forgetting I'm using the paint off the top of the bottle. Keep forgetting where I want to put my brush. Okay, not the best job, guys, but this is really just kind of a fun, little fun piece for me. Oh, the tangerine. Oh, I love the tangerine. Okay, Janice. Thank you. See you soon. Have a good day. Okay, now I think the only thing else I want to do, other than maybe do some doodles, is find me a darker reddish kind of, let's see, berry wine. This might work. Just something that I can do a little bit of a shadow on the wattle. And I think I am going to have to flip that so I don't mess it up. Now, of course, when you're floating color, it works a lot better on wood or glass or, you know, something other than paper. Well, girls, this one is really a thick. This is almost a solid. Almost a solid. There was a movie that I enjoy watching. It's called 2 Weeks Notice with Hugh Grant and Sandra Bullock. Some of you have probably seen it. Maybe I'll just wrap this under here. And her mom and dad, I think, are both lawyers. She's a lawyer. And the mother's got the father eating tofu and all this healthy stuff. And at one point, the mother says, his cholesterol's so high, he's practically a solid. Every time I say something about something being solid, I think of that movie. I like that movie. If you get a chance to watch it, you might enjoy it. All right, I'm not sure if I can get this to work. You know what? I think I'm just going to go with the black. Berry wine is now in the bin. As my British son would say, put it in the bin. All right, let's just do this. I have a little bit of glare. I'm just going to try to come around here and shade that so you can see the wattle a little bit. I don't know if you guys are seeing that very well. I'm going to do the back side of this. Kind of covers up your pencil marks a little too. Then there's a paint that I like. I discovered when doing ceramics. I forget the brand. I'll look when I pull it out. They've got all kinds of neon colors, and the one is Hot Shot Fiery Red. Oh my gosh. It is the best for highlighting red. I cannot believe we're having thunder. It doesn't look like a rainy day. Okay, so he's looking okay. See, now I used a little bit of that extender here, and that still is. Can you see it glistening? I wonder if that's going to dry flat or if it's going to stay like all glistening. Put a little more down his leg. And then I think I might see, this is where I get carried away. But it's a journal page, right? So this is for us to have fun and experiment. And let me just see if I can get a little. It's not dark enough. Well, it might be dark enough. I usually like a little more of a contrast. Let's try this purple. Oh, love purple. So, okay, so now my brain goes to, she wore an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini. Why? I said purple. Oh, girls. This is what happens when you're left home alone. And I want to make sure that stays octagon shaped. Yes, one-eyed purple people here. I had to have blood drawn on Monday. So, oh my gosh, what an ordeal that was. So I head out, go over to the LabCorp that, you know, in my doctor's complex where I was going to have the blood drawn. Get over there. The gals had just left for lunch. Okay. So by the time I would get home, get back in the car, come back over, you know, it just wasn't going to happen. So I said, okay, Sharon, thanks for popping, honey. And I'm just going to go grab a little something to eat. It wasn't a fasting thing. So went and did that, came back, waited for other folks in front of me to get taken care of. Finally gets to be my turn. I go in, sit down, and the girl says, "Oh, you need a blood culture. We can't do that. I don't have the right kit." I'm like, "Huh?" So after a couple of phone calls and she sent a couple of pictures of what she had to use, I decided to go. She offered to do the others. And I said, I don't want to get stuck twice, right? So head out to another place. So I head over to a Quest lab. Well, when I got in there, the fella, he's yawning. He had a very busy day, but he had a great oldies station on. I'm like, oh my, I love your choice of music. And then we got talking about how our kids, don't appreciate what we listen to. My son's always asking me, how do you like that new band? I'm like, honey, if it's not an oldies, mommy doesn't listen to it. Actually, I don't listen to much radio unless I'm in the car, and I'm not in the car that much anymore. I'd rather be doing a YouTubey. All right. I don't think these all have to be done, but I think that just adds another little dimension, right? And we got the swirlies. I think I need another coat of black on this eye. I might come back at some point and put some words in here. Add some dots or some doodles. I think I want to outline it a little bit too. I wonder if I have a little marker at the ready here. This is a Sharpie marker. Let me see if it's dry. Yeah. Well, this is fun for me. I haven't done anything like this in a while. And I like the little book I put together. I don't know how many journals and books do you need, but aren't they fun to make and throw together? And I have I've been collecting. Yeah, I love me some dots. I've been collecting Tim Holtz trash. You know, when you buy all his little things, his little charms and all this stuff. So I've been saving all that trash. I want to make some kind of a little journal kind of a thing. It's just getting started. Well, guys, it's really getting rumbly here. I probably should disconnect. Call that a day. You know what? I keep forgetting to date things too. Kathy Berg was saying the other day She forgets to date stuff. Man, I always do. So, like, what's today? This 21st. I'm going to just say 7/21. 21. So, I'm going to call that a wrap, I think, guys. I think I'm ready for a little lunch. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. It's good to see you and chat. I'm trying to get back into the groove and get caught up on a few projects. So, this kind of pushed me to do that. So, I wish you all the best. Thanks, Devin. I so appreciate you girls popping in. And I got 10 thumbs up. That's fabulous. All right, girls. I'll see you on this, the tube somewhere. I think it's, what is it? It's Wednesday. So maybe Becky will be on later. And don't forget, take time to be creative and enjoy the journey. I'll see you next time. I think this guy needs a highlight before I go, or I'm going to forget. Let me just do it real quick. Let me give him a little highlights there. All right, guys, take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.